Today, we're exploring a topic that doesn't get nearly enough attention: body literacy for women over 50. This is more than just a fitness conversation. It's about understanding how our bodies change, why they change, and how we can reconnect with them in empowering ways. For many women, the transition through perimenopause and menopause can feel like their bodies have changed overnight. Energy levels shift, sleep becomes unpredictable, and the strategies that once worked in health, fitness, and even mindset suddenly don't seem to apply. It's confusing, frustrating, and too often it's a stage of life where women are expected to simply push through without support or clear information. That's why this conversation is so critical, because body literacy, truly knowing and listening to your body, can be the key to taking back control, confidence, and well-being in this next chapter of life. Joining me today is Jake Moody, a highly regarded personal trainer who has spent years helping women navigate the realities of their changing bodies with strength, knowledge, and self-compassion.
Something I try and teach people, no matter what age they are, your muscle mass is your metabolism. If you think about how much energy you need on a daily basis, that comes predominantly from how much muscle mass you have. That obviously declines as you get older. So if you start when you're younger and you build a substantial amount of muscle, you've created an investment.
Jake's approach goes beyond the gym. It's about education, empowerment, and building a relationship of respect with the body you're in. So whether you're approaching menopause, in the midst of it, or simply want to understand your body better, this episode is for you.
UThink is sponsored by Vulvali, a living experience where you can work, learn, play, and connect. Visit vulvali.com.au.
I'm Rose Garofano, and over the years of being an educator and connector, I've had the privilege of talking with a vast array of incredible individuals who inspire and create meaningful impact across the globe through their words and actions. UThink is my opportunity to engage with these remarkable people to bring out the best in them. My hope is that through these conversations, we can all be inspired to achieve our own greatness and make a meaningful impact in our world. Well, welcome, Jake, to UThink, the podcast. I am very, very, very excited to have you on today's episode because we're going to talk about something that affects 50% of the population.
Yeah.
At some point in their life, women will encounter the dreaded perimenopause and menopause, but it's not the focus of today's actual conversation. It's the context of today's conversation.
Yes.
And really what we're going to be talking about is the concept of body literacy, which affects everyone, male and female. But we are going to focus on females, particularly over 40, 50 and 60 in those age brackets, because there is so much information out there for young people. And I think young people are very body conscious and really are more acutely aware of their image, their
For
body
sure.
image, particularly in this newer generation of living. Whereas I grew up where, it was just even recently, where I was saying that I don't remember ever worrying about my body image when I was in my early teens and then in my early 20s. I don't remember it. I don't remember social media the way it is today. I don't remember being affected by it.
You could live a bit more of a free life.
Yeah, and I think that we were we noticed other girls, or I definitely noticed, my friends and I talk about noticing other girls, but it wasn't the topic of every conversation, as I suspect it's become because of the advancements of technology and our access to it. But let's start by saying, who are you and your story?
Yep.
Because, Jake, you and I know each other because I train at Everwilling.
Yep.
It's a wonderful gym that's situated in the Castle Hill area. It's like a community family feel to the gym. And the way that you and I have become friends, and I just distinctly remember a day that you were so kind to me where I came in and I was feeling pretty flat.
Yeah.
And you went, "Are you okay?"
Always.
Yes.
I can always sense that off other people, and just you came in, something just didn't feel right and I had to ask.
Yeah. And I went, "No." I said, but I didn't really want to talk about it. But you ended up still reaching out to me in a way that made me feel safe enough to say, I just felt flat, and like some days my training isn't working, my head's not aligned with my body, my heart isn't aligned with my head. And you said that's normal. And you particularly said pertinent to women of my age. We really do struggle with it. So I said, Jake, I want to have that conversation because we were talking about how important it is to know about our bodies, literacy about our bodies.
Yeah, and that was the language I used with you, body literacy.
Yeah.
It's like learning what the signals and the messages inside your body are telling you. And that could be different all the time. Our bodies are always telling us different things. And I think that day for you just needed to move, shake out what you're feeling. And I said, that's exactly what you need to do that day.
Yeah. So Jake, how'd you become a PT?
I became a trainer 7 years ago. I've always had this fascination with the body science, but I think also going through my own life, wanting to change what I was feeling on the inside. I think my body for so many years was telling me I'm not happy, I'm not healthy. There was so many signals and things just going on, which comes out as anxiety, depression, multiple kind of things in your head that play on you. And I think my wanting to change myself then just kind of fell into that. And I love to learn and educate myself. So it wasn't just I got to become a trainer to change myself. It was very much I became so fascinated in learning, education, and not just the PT course, but the master classes, the mentorships, the coaching with some of the best coaches in the world, nutrition coaches and courses, and things that don't always give me a big accreditation per se, but it was just that extra knowledge and learning that one bit more. And
well, we know that, right? We can get your accreditation, which I think is important because
Yeah.
the accreditation would have given you the solid theory,
oh yeah,
but you've immersed yourself in the practice as well and
Of course.
learning from the people who are actively testing the theory
yeah,
in more modern contexts, particularly, as I said, things changing. Things actually haven't really changed. I know my mother went through menopause,
I think the
40 years ago.
conversation is becoming a little bit more out there for people. It's becoming more normal to talk about what we're going through and experiencing. I think as well, looking at some of the females in my family, it's almost a bit like they thought they had to be quiet about the things that are changing or going on. Or
The research has improved, the science, the knowledge and science around it has improved. Just as a general society, we've improved. And then, as you said, the permission maybe now to actually say to people, I'm not feeling well, I'm in perimenopause, I'm in menopause, has become more, not even acceptable, it's not the right word, is it? It's just become more normal.
yes,
And people are starting to talk that way
for sure.
without feeling the fear of being judged or that it's, a negative thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So for 7 years training,
7 years a trainer now, but yeah, started when I was about 20, 21. That's when I was beginning the course. And then I told myself I just wanted to do it as a part-time thing. And then lo and behold, I went back to my full-time job and thought this ain't for me. And then just resigned and just then somehow found a job at a gym like within a week. And it's just kind of gone from there.
and what do you love most about it? Tell me what you love most about being a personal trainer.
Definitely the people. I'm a people person. I love to engage, have conversations, and I love to help. So working with people and their health is the way you can make the biggest impact and change in someone's life. And I just love that it changes who they are as people too.
So, body literacy. We know that influencers, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anyone gets onto these social platforms and they talk about, protein, they talk about exercise, they talk about HRT, they talk about everything relating to body.
Yep.
So I'm talking about obviously women, but anything and everything. What works, what doesn't. Try this routine, try that routine, try this method, yoga, Pilates. I get overwhelmed because to me it's like it's flooded. It's just an information dump, isn't it, or a promotion. But we're going to talk about defining the concept of what is body literacy.
Yes,
And then we're really going to focus on the fact that it's about education.
for sure.
Okay, so you take over.
So for me, body literacy isn't something I always thought of as a concept, but when I heard that terminology, and I can't even remember where I read it, it very much is what I've always tried to do with myself and with clients, and that's self-discover. If you were to start training with me, Rose, and work on food, I'd never sit there and be like, you can't eat that, you can eat this, you shouldn't be doing that. It very much is, show me what you're doing right now. Tell me how you're feeling. keep a bit of a record, a day to day, and if you start to come back and say, oh, I've been bloated all week and my mindset's been a bit off and I'm just feeling real foggy at work. Okay, let's see what we can look at. Let's try and play around with it a little bit.
So you look at the foods that the person may have consumed in their diary, in their weekly plan. You also have a chat about when they're eating, because all of this comes into play, doesn't it?
It does.
And nobody really does that, really notes it down, because if we did, we'd see patterns.
And that's what body literacy is. It's about just noting things, paying a bit more attention. What is my body feeling? Reflecting on what we have been doing. And it's not always just a food diary. Sometimes it is, understanding how much sleep have you had that week? Did you drink enough water yesterday? Did you actually eat enough in the morning? Maybe that's why you've got these intense cravings of an evening.
Yeah. And everyone is different.
Everyone is different.
Yeah, because a friend of mine, we were talking just recently about this concept, and I said how excited I was about the fact that I was going to talk about body literacy. And if you know me, you know that I'm an educator at heart, and I have been educating for 30 years. And one of the areas that I really advocate for is literacy in general, which is it's like the foundations of, reading, writing, speaking. And it's if everyone has strong literacy in their life, they can cope. Well, this is the same with your body.
It is.
If you have the basics right of your body and you know how your body functions, you're going to thrive, not just survive.
Oh, for sure. I think if I was to even look on the internet and type in some things and go, what should I eat for me? Because of the years that I've been doing it, I would know that what has been given in a plan or what the internet says, well, that doesn't work for me because that type of food makes me uncomfortable. It actually doesn't sit well in my gut. That usually leads to a negative kind of headspace or stress or, your gut and your mind are closely linked. So there's lots of things that I've been put into practice, eating well each week, making changes that I know myself well enough in a lot of areas now. If someone said, you need to eat this to improve your health, I'd go, probably not for me.
And that's the thing I think we need to talk about with body literacy is that there are lots of suggestions.
Yes.
So the plans you can buy online that says this is a great week. This is a basic week and it will hit your proteins. It'll hit your, whatever they're called now.
Micronutrients or your macros.
Your
stuff
macros,
like that. Yep.
And then also hydrate. Some people say it's 3 litres of water. Some people say at least 3 glasses of water. It scares me how much there is out there and how I can't figure it out for myself well enough. But I think it's important to actually make us remember that we're supposed to be asking, as you just pointed out, what's right for me.
Yep.
There are some basics, obviously.
Oh, of course
so
there are.
having hydrating is a basic.
Yep.
But 1 glass of water is not enough. But for me, 3 litres, I would never be out of the bathroom.
It disrupts your sleep because you've got to keep going through the night.
Yeah.
And you've got bad sleep, then you're waking up and just
so you have to
fog through
work
the day.
out. Yeah. Okay. All righty. So body literacy is knowing what is right for our individual selves, as in our bodies.
Yes, and you do have to start somewhere. You do probably have to start with some information that you've read and go, does this work? Yes, no, what is good about it? What isn't? And it slowly starts to play on. So, people will come to me, tell me they're not quite losing weight or, they're not eating enough or they're under eating, and they eat minimally and they're still not getting the results. They're trying to stick to a calorie deficit. That's a good message, but only if you're teaching that person. With that, you need to learn to eat more, the bigger meals, more food volume, understanding that food choices could keep you fuller for longer than others.
Yeah.
So if you were to,
so much education around this.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the nutrition science and education I have. So I can help kind of guide those little choices with people, but there's no point me telling you to eat, pumpkin if you go, absolutely don't like pumpkin.
Yeah.
Could be good to keep you full, but why would I force you to eat something you don't really?
Like me, I don't like tomatoes, fresh cut tomatoes. Can't do them. People laugh at me as an Italian.
Yep.
Why aren't you eating tomatoes?
That actually is funny.
Yeah. But the point is, I think if you don't get to know who you are and what you like, then you're not really going to be nourishing your body in a way that's suitable for you.
See, I'm not anti-oats, but one of the biggest things a lot of people do when they're trying to lose weight is they meal prep all these oats for breakfast. In my experience, there's a lot of people then who end up with bloating they're like, oh, I'm eating well and I'm doing all these things, but, I'm just bloated all the time or feel uncomfortable. And you tell half of them to cut their oats out or only have it like a once a week type thing. And they're, oh, my bloating's gone. So oats aren't bad for you, and some people can stomach them, feel great off them. They're a great source of energy. But again, that's where I kind of work in a one-on-one setting to kind of find those little things and help people understand what suits you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to keep giving oats out in a meal plan if someone's not feeling their greatest, but they're losing this weight, but they're so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's just not how I roll.
That's right.
And that's the type of things I like to help and educate people on.
So anyone, doesn't matter whether it's you as an amazing personal trainer, any personal trainer, but anyone should be asking, does that food work for me?
Yep. And that's where food diaries are important. Like learning, what am I eating? What did I eat today? Sometimes we get so busy we forget. I do too.
So just having a diary and starting to note down what you eat and the times you eat.
Yeah, timing does help.
Yes.
Yep.
And any reaction you have to the food.
For sure.
Yeah. So I do love boiled eggs in the morning. I have found those to be quite simple for me. I like them. They don't make me feel bloated.
Yes.
But they don't last long.
Yes.
As in terms of hunger.
Yeah, okay.
So I peak at, an hour and a half later, I'm peckish again.
Yep. So that's you learning your body,
Yeah.
what you've filled it with, which does make you feel good. But by this time, you need that next kind of meal, that next thing.
Yeah.
I think what is important about body literacy is where it breaks away from a lot of the, maybe you got to fast or maybe you got to do this or you shouldn't eat between this time, you shouldn't do that. You actually break the rules and make your own, which is a really good thing, to be honest, because you make it suit yourself.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're not saying that what people are putting out there is wrong.
It's not wrong, but it's not always for you as an individual.
So for us going forward now, and we'll talk a little bit about women in their 40s, 50s and 60s particularly.
Yes.
This is where it really does play an important part because we lose our hormones. Our hormones decrease in terms of their quantity.
Yep.
And for many women, they lose estrogen or progesterone completely during menopause. That changes the way a woman's body processes everything. Sleep, it affects sleep.
Yep.
It affects diet. Women often in that period more than likely put on substantial amounts of weight because we know scientifically that estrogen and progesterone are factors in helping to break down and, process food. And so when we're not got that right, then we have problems with their weight. We know that hot flushes, so body temperature changes. We also know that it changes their emotional stability.
Yeah, mental health is a big one. It can really impact how you feel.
Yeah. So their whole image, who they know they are and the way they see themselves changes in that period. It's often a creep, right? It's a creep. That's why they call it perimenopause to start with. They should call it creep menopause or creepy menopause because it does. It's not something that suddenly happens. It comes upon women slowly, and that's what I think is the hardest part. It's recognising when all of those symptoms become problematic.
For sure.
But by the time some women recognise it, they're well and truly in a process that's negative.
Yeah.
And so what can we be telling women who are suffering, whatever age, through this quite significant change? What's the body literacy for us?
It's a big one, but as you start to notice there are changes, the best thing you could do is start to do something. Is it improve your food choices? Is it go to the gym if you've never done that before? Maybe if you are training, maybe there's something you could be doing different with your training, focusing on lower reps, higher weight, really focus on building muscle. The more you focus on things like that, you're not going to just hop, skip and a jump and, I skipped through menopause. It is just a part of aging, but you can also help reduce how it affects you. It's not going to be perfect. There's still going to be things that you feel that are changing because it is a sign of aging. It's natural, but maybe it just won't feel as intense.
So one thing is that they should be going to their GP and getting really good advice around hormone treatment.
For sure, because it's different for everyone. Some women's hormones are way out of whack and they do need that assistance from a doctor. But I think just only getting a doctor's advice and not trying to make lifestyle changes, you do set yourself up to fail.
Okay.
I think they both
So number
go
one,
hand
they
in
need to
hand.
go see a GP, but that GP needs to be knowledgeable
Yeah.
because I know from personal experience, I got some pretty average advice when I first went and said, help,
Yep.
I'm struggling. It was basically, here's a script that should help. There was no asking of my personal circumstances.
If your doctor hasn't run through your lifestyle, run. Find a doctor who's willing to ask all the right questions about you. What do you do? What do you do for work? What's your health like? What do you eat on a regular
all of
basis?
these factors.
Do you exercise? When did you notice sleep started to feel awful? Knowing your lifestyle is a big thing before they should start to make decisions on that.
Yeah. And then they can prescribe if they feel necessary,
sure.
if it's right for the individual, what they believe to be right. Yes?
Yep.
And people need to trial and error that too, because I trialed and errored and it took me 3 goes to get to where I am today with the right HRT.
Yep. And was that with a new doctor as well?
It was.
Yep.
Okay. So that was with a new doctor who said, given your lifestyle, given who you are and how you operate, that's going to possibly be the best option. But let's try it, they said. And then they checked back with me to see how it was going.
So what would you say the difference was between the first GP and the second one? They checked on you more as a person and wanted to know more about you?
Yeah, they asked me definitely more questions. And they also said, for example, patches didn't work for me. I train a lot, I sweat a lot, they were falling off. And yet the original doctor just told me to persist. And I thought that was not helpful when it was frustrating. Then I was told by it's like a secret squirrel, business, women online who have their own little Facebook pages and our own little groups.
Yep.
We can get and join these groups online.
I've heard about some of these things.
But they're fabulous because it's women supporting women.
Yep.
Right. So I joined a local menopausal group online that said we're just sharing our experiences and just chatting about doctors that are working for us and recommending people that were quite good.
Yep.
And a lot of people spoke about this one female GP in my area that was really good. There was several, but this one name kept coming up. So I booked in, and the complete different experience I got. Just immediately said, tell me what's going on, she said. Just tell me. And so then I was not only just telling her about my lack of sleep or the patches weren't sticking, but I was also telling her about my emotional state. And she just listened and then said, we're just going to try this, which I think is going to better suit you. And I think that's the most important message I got out of that. She was listening to me.
Yeah.
And now
huge.
I know that my friends, there are different friends who are trying different things. And I said to them, I'm happy that if it's working for you, I think that's really great. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And that goes with everything.
And that's individualization.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the literacy we need.
Yeah.
It's about getting the right information.
For sure.
And asking the right questions.
I also find a lot of people, they sit in front of a doctor and think they must know everything. And sometimes doctors are just like people too. They've been working all day. Yep. Who's coming in? Who's next? Yep. Awesome. I've helped you. On to the next person.
Yeah.
Because they're just doing what they know. But they're definitely, like me, I'm very passionate on a certain way of training. Someone comes to me and says, oh, can you do a boxing? Can you do a hit? I say no.
Yeah.
It's just not me. It's not my forte. There are going to be doctors out there who are a bit more educated, who maybe have a softer spot for women like you, who have done the extra research, who know all the different things that you could possibly do if one method doesn't suit you.
Or that they're passionate about that particular area of medicine.
Yes.
And so we really should be looking to go to GPs, particularly that are knowledgeable about the type of area that we're concerned about. And in this case. So tell me about women that you've trained.
Yes.
Who are in that stage of life. And what has made the difference for them? You mentioned the difference between, more weightlifting. And I've been told that, I've seen that on the social media platforms, that weightlifting for women, particularly in their menopausal periods of life or in their latter periods of life, so even past menopause, like my mum who's 80, weightlifting can be have a substantial impact for bone density, for their longevity, for breakage.
For sure. Something I try and teach people, no matter what age they are, your muscle mass is your metabolism. If you think about how much energy you need on a daily basis, that comes predominantly from how much muscle mass you have. That obviously declines as you get older. So if you start when you're younger and you build a substantial amount of muscle, you've created an investment throughout that time
Well, that's
period.
great for the young ones.
Yes.
But what about women who have not trained?
So don't think of it as like, all hope is gone. If we can start to build muscle at any age, you can start to, build muscle. You can improve your bone density. You can, to an extent, slightly improve hormones. We know exercise does help improve your hormonal state. Obviously doesn't make it 100% magic at that parent.
It's not the silver bullet,
No, not
but
at
it's
all.
part of the ingredients.
Yes, it is. And from my experience, I've seen women in those age brackets come to me. They've heard about strength training. They know I love it. They know I specialize in it. They jump on it. They're all at different ability levels. Some are really just learning how to pick up a 3-kilo dumbbell for the first time or just focus on body weight movement. Doesn't mean we just give them the heaviest weight possible. Some women, had some good strength, and now I'm teaching them how to do pull-ups on their own. So each person's starting point is different, and that's the kind of exciting part of strength training, they're getting excited that they can do all these brilliant things, but that comes all from that one message of trying to build muscle mass.
Yeah.
It is so good for
So
aging.
I've never heard of that it's like an investment. The muscle is an investment in your life.
So even let's just put it in perspective. So let's just say, you're in your 50s right now, you're listening to this message going, what should I do? The muscle mass you have is like gold. You want to hold on to it, or you want to try and build more right now. And everybody can. It's not impossible. I think some people get to a certain age and think, oh, not for me, or maybe they have mentally given up. And that's my biggest upset. I think I get upset when people go, oh, I can't be bothered now, or that's not for me, I'm too old now. I'm like, absolutely not. Any time is good to do it, because, if you're 50 right now, what if you live to 90? What condition do you want to be in? Weight training, building muscle is going to make sure that the quality of your years is so much better.
Yeah. I have seen women who are in their 70s, 60s, 70s and 80s who are quite frail.
Yes.
And we know statistically that actually one of the leading causes of death in older people are falls.
Yes.
So once they fall, they don't die from the fall, but they die from the infections from the fall.
Yep.
And the fragility of their bones, in terms of not being able to recover very well.
So to bring that into context, imagine you're kind of getting that 40s, 50s, and you think, you know what, I'm going to start to weight train. That, hormones are changing, bone density could potentially start to drop. But instead, you've actually nipped it in the butt there, and you're actually at least keeping it to a good level, or even improving bone density through weightlifting.
Yeah.
So, that's like a good reason to want to start, even if you are 50 and you've never weight trained in your life. It's about learning.
That's what I was going to say. And it's important, what I'm hearing, and hopefully I'm getting this right, Jay, is that it's not about skinny.
No, God, no.
It's about strong.
And I think why I like strength is because it's not always, look at me, look in the mirror, I'm trying to get a six-pack. It is that feeling of, hey, I can do a push-up in my 50s. Hey, I can,
So it's about strength.
It's about strength. It's about what your body can do. What can you achieve? And that's what I love with all the women that I've worked with, regardless of size, composition, or anything like that. They all of a sudden can do things they never thought they could do.
Yeah,
or maybe
and so that
just
does
had
affect
given up at that age mentally, thinking, I can't do that.
And doesn't that affect also the way we then believe we're strong in other areas?
For sure.
So
it's
all of
this
a sudden,
confidence that starts to join every other aspect of your life.
Yeah. But if I can do a push-up with confidence, you wake up, you get off the floor and you go, wow, right? I'm now going to tackle a difficult conversation at work, or
Yes.
I'm going to attempt to do a beautiful hike that maybe I always thought I wanted to do, but I didn't think I could do it.
Yep. It just gives you that self-belief, and that's the important part.
And that helps us overall, because as we were talking about earlier, during the menopausal period for women, one of the things that really is affected is their self-worth and their image of themselves in terms of their competence. I was speaking to a couple of people who are high execs, CEO positions, one early stages of menopause, the other almost at the end in terms of, the journey. And both of them said they've often found themselves apologising to their co-workers and colleagues about their fatigue levels, their if they had body sweats or whatever, overheating, weight gain. One of them said to me, one of my colleagues at work said, geez, you've put a bit of weight on. And she felt she had to explain that she was in menopause, and this is a natural thing that happens in menopause. And she said all of a sudden I was defending myself, but also defending women about this.
I was going to say, the fact that someone would even say that to someone is just awful.
And so what I was coming back to was the fact that there was this stigma, even today in this modern world, that menopause is has to be justified, that we can't accept the fact that that does impact us physically greatly, but also therefore it affects our mental well-being.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and it's a real struggle.
Especially if it's coming from other people's comments. It's never quite nice to hear either.
Yeah. Now, I know that my mum didn't have the education that I wish I have had today, and I know that as much as social media can be a negative, it actually does give me abundance of information, or at least it gives me information, and it's my duty to question it. Question it
all.
Yeah, because it's there. And the latest one I heard was, someone said, if you've had it literally was last night, and I was like, great, I'm going to talk to Jake about this because this is exactly what I'm talking about, that body literacy.
Yep.
So on one of those social media platforms, this woman gets on there and says, if you've had a hysterectomy, you still need progesterone, and then berates on about this concept.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, again, fear-mongering or fear-factoring. And anyone that's ever been, in that category must be now thinking, oh, my God, I haven't had that particular treatment and now I'm going to have problems. And so I just think actually what we should be saying is, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. I need to research that. I could speak to my GP.
For sure.
I could do a bit of proper research online.
Sure.
Speak to personal trainers, strength and conditioning trainers.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you hear things, don't just accept it for what it is, and you don't have to relate to everyone. Your menopause experience is different to your friends, like you mentioned earlier. You're not going to sit at the table and just say, oh yeah, that was fantastic for me, the thing that didn't work for you. But you don't want your words of that didn't work for you to stop them from getting what they need.
And asking, well, let me see.
So it's a good thing to share experience, but you don't need to relate to every person going through menopause because you're also different.
Yeah.
And your needs are different.
That's right. It's not just menopause, but we can talk about women generally as they age. After children, their bodies change, their hormones change. So women in general, and humans in general, their bodies change. So we go through puberty, our bodies change. We get to a certain, maybe our work lifestyle, then our bodies might change.
We even have a moment of stress.
Yeah.
There's more change.
Yeah, and trauma. People who go through lots of different forms of trauma, they may end up exercising less, as you said, socialising and connecting less. So really what we should be saying is wherever journey you're into your life, whatever stage of your life, have some ownership over it.
For sure.
Own the literacy of it, as in know your body and know what's happening to your body.
Definitely.
And then try and find what's needed for that moment.
Definitely.
Because I know I can't do what I did when I was 20.
Oh, for sure.
I can't.
It's also about looking at where you are and going, what could I do next? I think that's a big thing, just reshaping the mindset. I get upset when people sometimes go with that kind of mindset and go, oh, that means I'm going to stop doing these things now, or I can't train, or I can't do this. You might not need to do exactly what you did at 20, but it doesn't mean we can't find good things to work on for you now that make you feel good, improve your health, improve your strength, and that you just enjoy your life. Just because you did something at 20 doesn't mean if you can't do that now, you're somehow less than or not good enough.
And there's nothing else. That's right.
That you can't just enjoy getting in the gym, like if that's the example we're going with.
Yeah. So women and men, women should be going out, testing different gyms.
Yeah, finding the right community is important. And like you said at the start, where I work and where you train, I love it for the community. Even though you're not my client, I love that you come in and we can have a good chat and a laugh and get along because that's the community that we have there. And each gym community will feel different. What one person might like is a CrossFit style gym. I'd probably never fit in there, but that's okay because I have plenty of friends that do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what's important, finding a community. And it
Yeah.
might not be a gym. It could be a walking group. It could be,
A
it could
run
be,
club, a
yeah,
bike, a hike group, but find your clan.
Yes.
Find your community or your clan.
for sure. People that lift you up and also encourage you to participate in life because that's important.
Find your pace.
Yeah,
Would you say find your pace?
for sure.
And ask the right questions or ask questions.
Yeah, just be inquisitive, and just because someone does something doesn't mean you need to, but it could be a good idea to try things from time to time, see how it makes you feel. Does that work for me? And that's that body literacy coming into play.
Give me an example. Someone you've trained with where this has come into play.
There's one client in particular. She is fit, is healthy, but came to me this year and was very much like, I don't think I need to change much, and I think I feel strong. And people look at her and go, why would you need a personal trainer? And so many people said that to her. And the work we've done this year, this is, a very different case. She's at perimenopause stage, was feeling the hot flushes, had a lot of bloating at times, just feeling quite uncomfortable. Her mood, she would say, was a little bit, there, and I think a little bit of anxiousness, if I remember correctly. And I'm like, cool, that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to start you on my style of training. I'm going to see what you eat and then slowly adapt it to the little tweaks. Does this make you feel better? Let's try this. And we're at a point now where, one, she doesn't have as much body fat on her anymore. And not that that was a big part of the goal, but it's definitely made her feel more confident in her skin. She's learned how to do a pull-up for the first time in her life and now smashes them out like you wouldn't believe. She has come to me talking about the bloating and the little food changes, no more protein powders for her, removing oats, high doses of like lettucey style spinach, taking all that out and just kind of keeping it minimal, less bloating. She no longer has the night sweats. All these things that were really starting to affect her mental state, her energy. She's starting to realize now she's also pulled drinking to a minimum, and all these little changes, she's just walking in every day feeling on top of the world. And it is just like a transformation that's gone on for months, but it was just that week to week after 3-4 weeks assessing. You're quite bloated all the time from what? Let's start to just pull little things out, swap that for this and see how we go.
And so she kept a weekly plan or journal?
Yes, she kept her food tracking. She'd let me know what types of activities she was doing each day. She'd follow my training programs, even writing comments on there, feeling a bit low or flat today. But we could always link it to things, maybe 2 nights of bad sleep from extra work stress. Those types of days. Don't thrash yourself. Just kind of do mid-pace that day if you feel like moving. And another big one for women is some of them that are training inclined, they don't know when to stop. She was training 7 days before, go, had to do something every day. And very much now she'll listen to her body and go, I actually need a rest day. And that is big coming from her because she's starting to listen to what's going on in the inside. And that's important. I don't have to suggest rest days anymore. She's like, I want to take them, which is important too, because it's not always about pushing or doing more. But
because if we push and push and push, we know that eventually fatigue levels make for errors, injuries,
100%.
but also exhaustion
and that can wreak havoc on your hormones as well, make them play up more than maybe they already are. So not that she won't kind of go through menopause or experience some of these things, but it's reduced the intensity of the symptoms for her, and she's just enjoying her life that bit more. And sometimes I just step back and she'll tell me, this is what I'm doing this week because these food choices have made me feel like this. And it's nice to, help in the beginning, but then take that little step back as people become more autonomous with themselves.
Yeah, or they become body literate.
Yeah, body literate, even better than autonomous.
Yeah, well, they understand what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and they take that control back.
For sure.
And that awareness.
Yep.
That's amazing. It's good to hear that there's, hope out there for all of us to know that. So there's so much information out there, but it's good to hear that we really shouldn't it's not like a lolly shop.
No.
We don't just grab a bag and go for it and just see what happens.
Yep.
And staying with that metaphor could be quite damaging because, lollies are high in sugar and,
Definitely.
they give you the high for a few minutes and then you realise you have to.
You know what's funny? At 28 years old, I've never, ever experienced a sugar high, and I love sugar, except this year I'm starting to notice these highs and these crashes and accelerated like heart rate when I've had a bit of red lollies, and I'm like, is this what people go through? Is this me slowly starting to feel the effects of little things? I know I'm only 28, but I'm like, this is different for my body.
Yeah.
So I've had to kind of cut back on a lot of those things lately. I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel too good actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're changing. Obviously, your body's changing and that's what we know. What worked, as you said, what worked for one, it's being aware.
Yep.
So let's go there with that important message. If you had to say to any woman, particularly women, but those of us who are in that later stage of our lives going through a significant medical change or body change, what advice? What are your key pieces of advice?
One is put yourself first, because a lot of women don't do that. Everybody else comes first, the family, the this, but I've got to do that much. You haven't eaten all day. And, you're going through a hard time in life, and under-eating, not training, not sleeping can also exacerbate what you're feeling in menopause. So it's almost like a double-edged sword because, one, the changing hormones can affect your sleep, how you feel, but then, that then is also made harder due to your lifestyle choices, maybe putting everyone first. So learn to put yourself first is a big message from me.
Just like in a plane when they say put your mask on first.
Yes.
And then help others.
Yes.
I love that analogy because I think it's you can't help people if you're not okay yourself.
100%. So put yourself first is my biggest message. And don't just accept things as they are. Like, if you haven't trained ever, don't be like, well, I can't do that now. Learn to be a student again. Learn to be a kid who's playing sport for the first time. Have that kind of like wonder and that little kind of kid energy. Like, learn new things. Be willing to just give it a go. Like, what's the worst that could happen besides, just
coming last
awkward
at the marathon?
And so what if you come last? You did a marathon. Like, how good's that?
Yeah, that would be me, Jake.
That's all right. But if you did a
the
marathon,
lights would have switched off. All of the paraphernalia would have been taken down.
I'd still be sitting there at the end waiting and clapping.
I would be crossing that line at midnight. You know what I mean?
You know what, though? I think that's it too. Just don't compare yourself to others. Your experience is going to be different to someone's. Someone's starting point is going to be different to yours. I'm sure, Rose, you've got friends that maybe have never trained in their life, but does that mean they shouldn't go and do something for themselves, whether it's training or anything, just because, oh, well, I missed that boat or I've never done it before, so I shouldn't? So I think like it's learning to be like a kid and just give things a go. That's kind of my
weight
biggest
training,
points.
would you suggest?
Oh, yeah, weight training for sure.
As we said, feed the muscle or grow the muscle.
It's all I do
it's your
with
investment.
anyone of any age is weight training. Not to say there's not better styles of training. It just, for me, is the most effective. It gets the most results. It has the least amount of injuries, provided technique's safe. But again, I work in a one-on-one environment, so people are getting their technique looked at. They're only getting weight added or intensity added when it's safe to do so. If I don't get people to box jump or hit workout or move up and down and around too much. There's just too much room for error. And I'm very structured, articulate. I want perfection. I want specific. And that's what weight training can give.
And in terms of being body literate or having that body literacy, advice?
It's something you will always develop. You don't just have it all or know it all. It's also about making mistakes, trying something new. Maybe you already know that if you don't eat breakfast, you binge eat of an evening. But some days it just happens again and you go, I forgot about that, but that's okay. Your body literacy will always develop over time. I'm still developing mine. I'm sure you're still developing yours. But just be that person who writes a journal, who understands how different things make them feel, your emotions, everything. I think it's super important to be tapped into who you are and just what happens to you each day.
I love that. And I think we will end on the fact that if there's one thing we can take out of this today, that is know who you are.
Yeah.
Know what works for you.
Yep.
and then talk to people that ask the right questions,
For sure.
or work with people that
Or seek out people who are in a field, or not even in a field. Like, if you see someone talking about this worked really well for me, go and ask them their questions. What do you do on a daily basis? And get to know a bit about them, because you can slowly see if that actually suits you, that way of doing things.
So ask the questions, seek advice, but make sure it works for you. Don't just persist because you think that's the right thing to do.
Oh, for sure. I've seen people persist in a lot of areas where they should have just cut it off a lot sooner, and they'd be a lot healthier and happier for it too.
Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation, focusing more on the concept of knowledge and being literate about what works for us.
Yep.
There is so much information out there, which is great. And thank God that we do have access to things that we never did back in the day.
Definitely.
And I feel more empowered as a woman for having that knowledge. But I think the most important message is that we're not all the same. God made us very unique.
Yep.
We're wonderful human beings. We're very unique, and we have to learn to make sure that we look after ourselves.
Definitely. And just trust your instincts. Learn to develop them. And that's the good thing about body literacy. You learn what is good for you and what isn't.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
And you're going to help me get a pull-up eventually.
Oh, yeah. We could do it.
Yeah.
I've seen you train. You've got it in you.
And you will be there. Past
I will be
midnight
there.
when I come past that finish line.
100%.
That's been pulled down.
I'm everyone's biggest cheerleader.
All righty, Jake. I love that. Thank you.
See ya.
And that's a wrap on another inspirational episode of UThink. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to dive a little deeper into anything we touched on today, you will find links in our show notes. And don't forget to follow us on social media at ImpactifyAU. Until then, see you next time.